All right. Welcome to Master Memories, the podcast where my friends talk about their lives. I'm here with Sean Phillip Lofton, aka Big Sean, aka I don't have any other. Do you have any other nicknames?
Big Eyes.
Oh, Little Miami. Can't forget it.
Little Miami. Yeah. I'm not rocking Little Miami merch today. I was when I was just home for for the past couple of days. I was wearing Little Miami t-shirts because all my other t-shirts have been packed.
Yeah.
And I've ran into someone that recognizes me, or I've known like everywhere I went, like to Costco. Like this girl at a store was like, "Did you graduate? Like when did you graduate? 2018?" I was like, I don't like this.
That's cool.
So I should not wear Little Miami stuff in public anymore.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned about wearing ATO stuff in the future now because it's like, I don't want to look like a has-been, but also like I want to be like, "Are you an ATO?" And I'll be like, "I was." I am old. Yeah, dude, it's crazy like having to say like, "Oh, I'm a recent college graduate" to people instead of just like, especially at like work calls and stuff, you know.
Once a brother, always a brother. Yeah. I was doing mount stuff today with Kathy, and I was in the union. We were printing out like baby onesies and just like doing a ton of other crap, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm a recent graduate." Or somebody asked, I don't know. I saw Otis, the janitor of the union. He was like, I was like moving to Chicago. He's like, "Oh, you graduated?" I'm like, "Yeah," but I'm still in the union though.
Yeah, it's I had to walk back from the art pack one day, and I was like, it just kind of hit me that like, almost all these buildings that like I spent all my time like in classes or studying or this that the other, like, I'm probably never gonna be in again. And
hopefully they're torn down and new ones are put in.
Dude, I went to Caldwell during our blackout, and I don't understand how that thing is like sanitarily okay. Like it is 1940s aesthetics and like.
You're missing that CSE ECE stench.
Yeah, I am gonna miss it. I mean, at the very least, Dries, 8th floor was very scenic, underrated, honestly.
I think I may have had software, one or two up there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe foundations, but I don't think I ever went past the 3rd floor.
Yeah, I didn't have any classes up there. There was like a tech help center that I went to one time, and then I was like...
The advising office is up there somewhere.
Or that. I thought the advising office was 3rd floor. That's semantics. But I went there like occasionally to like study, because like it was really out of the way, so no one like ever went there, so...
Yeah.
Open space. What's your first memory of us?
There's kind of a picture of it. It's the picture of you at your desk, and I think Evan in the background. You got like the full beard, like you look like very different. It's probably like my first.
This.
Yeah, crop it in.
Yeah. I'll throw it up here. Yeah.
It's you're just kind of like looking forward, and like have kind of a smirk on your face. Like I don't think that we were playing Smash Bros. I think we were like looking up something.
Yeah.
But it was that picture is probably like the first distinct memory. I don't think we were in some trios or something.
I want to say we had something during launch week, but like, I don't know.
The only trio I remember was with Gabby Bessie. Just because it's with Gabby Bessie.
That's tough, dude. I have no idea. Like, I don't even know what a trio is at this point. It's been too long.
Yeah, well, they tried to... All the, like, first and second years this past year were like, let's bring trios back because COVID, we don't know each other, and it just failed again. Like, it's this constant cycle of people, like, wanting to do trios so they can meet new people, but nobody, like, falling through with that action.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, new people is, like, new music. Like, I want to get, like, new music in my playlist, but that requires me to listen to new music, you know? Mm. And that's just, like, a lot of work, you know? You gotta weed out what songs you like, you don't like. It's too much work. What were you doing today before we started filming?
God. There's some weird problem going on with like paying rent in USAA and something dumb where I've lost like $7,000 in money that's just like kind of lost.
Jesus.
So I woke up and my dad, like, I got a call from my realtor like, oh, the check that bounced actually didn't bounce and it's back in my account. And my dad got on the phone and like screamed at the USAA agent, and that kind of stressed me out. And then driving up here, I got a speeding ticket, which was dumb, super dumb, 94 and a 70. I think there's some kind of like remedial class I can take to figure that out. So not a great day to start. And then as soon as I got here, I dropped all my stuff, went and did mount stuff with Kathy for about 2 hours. And then I came back here, went to the North Market with my mom. Mm-hmm. came back here again and started packing a little bit. Played a couple games of Fortnite and said bye to Evan. I think that's my last time I'm going to see him for a few months.
Damn. Yeah, it's usually I do these like 1 p.m. So it's usually like I just woke up. So that's like an action-packed day.
Yeah, it's a horrible day, but
yeah. Well, it's obviously shitty to say this, but like whenever you're watching this next, you'll be able to be like, yeah, that kind of happened. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll figure that out. Hopefully my car insurance isn't through the roof. Double check that when you watch this next.
Dude, car insurance.
I just had to move over my car insurance. I have to have car insurance for work, and I had to move it to Chicago, and they almost a little bit less than doubled it. Because I never put my address here. It went from Mainville to Chicago, which is probably the worst jump humanly possible. But
yeah, I don't know. I working with Nationwide right now, but I think car insurance. I don't know. I just don't want like renter's insurance, all that all these different insurance, but like car insurance, I'm just like. I also don't have a car, so like that's a little bit different. But like right now, I'm just like.
Are you gonna get a car?
My dad started work for Giant Eagle actually, so he's gonna get a company car. It's on back order right now, and when he gets that car, I'm gonna get his car. So I'll be driving that 2000 something Volvo. What does your typical day look like right now?
This is a really bad time to ask it because every day for the last 5-6 weeks I've been doing something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
This summer, after graduating, went to Europe, came back from Europe, went home, went to Boise State, which was super cool. I hope I'm still doing that in the future. And then I came home from Boise State, packed a little bit. Now I'm back here and I'm about to go to Chicago. So every day is some version of packing or traveling or volunteering of sorts. Once I'm in Chicago, so over the next month, I'm just going to kind of hang out and then I start work about 3 weeks from now. So just kind of packing and settling in until then, pretty much.
Word. What are you going to do like during those 3 weeks? Like just kind of explore or any ideas?
I'm going to exist for about a week in Chicago and then Sarah moves in on the 4th. I've not mentioned Sarah yet, but if I'm still dating Sarah when I watch this will be a fun video to watch. Or if I'm not, that'll be even funnier. We've been dating for almost a year on July 7th. So her and I are going to go out to dinner for like our 1 year, and then I'm going to go back home to Mainville. I'm driving to Arkansas to go visit my cousins who live out there. And I'm going to come back here for a couple of days and clean up whatever communal house stuff is here. This place is kind of trashed.
Yeah, you're telling me.
And then I'm going to go back to Chicago probably. Oh, but right before I leave, I'm going to go get lunch with Lucy's dad, my current boss at COT Systems. And then I'm going to go back to Chicago. And then I'll rest and I start work about a week later.
Damn, that's an even more action-packed 3 weeks. God.
It's a lot of gas.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gas in this horrible economy.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always said like money and memories are kind of inversely related. Like you either spend a lot of money and make a lot of memories, I guess regularly related, but spend a lot of money to make a lot of memories, or you're, making money and not making memories. So.
Or there's also like the complete opposite where you spend no money and you just have the weirdest memories.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I guess just I don't know. I'm not looking forward to already like the 9-to-5 life. It's like Evan and Ben will be doing like all this stuff during the day and like in the night, and I'm like, I got work tomorrow. I want to do this stuff, but like I gotta wake up.
And they'll be here.
Yeah.
Okay. Just
like bowling in the bowl room, or I don't know. They wanted to golf with me, and originally I was in, but then I have a lot of irons in forge right now, or whatever the phrase is. So I just like every night, like after I work out and eat, or after I work out and come back and eat and all that stuff, I just have like a bunch of side projects that I've been working on. It's just like I'm always behind on something. So
yeah, we can definitely chat about your side projects. I definitely want to learn more, but after this.
Where do you lean politically and why?
That's always a really interesting question to ask me after Boise State, because Boise State is run by the American Legion, which is a veterans organization, and they preach the military. So it's like the military and like public service is super cool.
Yeah.
And every year after I go to that, I'm like, man, like maybe the military and the military-industrial complex isn't that bad. But it is. So after, I don't know if you filmed any since the Roe v. Wade overturning.
Just one.
Yeah, it's definitely the huge thing going on right now. I would say that I lean fairly liberal. I look at a lot of political compass memes right now, so I'm trying to see like where on that I lean. Probably closer to like authoritarian left.
Yeah.
Not in the sense that like the government should overreach on personal liberties, but I'm not really. I'm okay with paying into social programs.
Yeah.
A lot of my family is on some kind of welfare of sorts, or not my extended family really, and have benefited from these government programs.
Yeah.
Living in Chicago, I know it's a high tax state, but I know that the social services it provides and places like Planned Parenthood that provide not only like abortion services, but also like pregnancy and family planning services, all stuff that I think is a good cause and worth for my tax dollars to go to. That being said, I think that the corruption right now is absolutely horrible. Nancy Pelosi stock trading is kind of a huge thing that I always see on TikTok and Reddit and whatnot. And I think that we have, or maybe I just noticed this is the most corrupt I've seen. And but yeah, I'd say largely left. I totally just rambled, so feel free to like just speed that up or something. But largely left. I don't think that's really changed throughout my college career. Whenever I come back from Boise State, I'm like, yeah, maybe the military's cool. Maybe some Republican values are cool, but no, I'm pretty progressive. I feel like I always have been.
Yeah. No worries about rambling. Honestly, the more you say, the better, because there's more to look at.
Yeah.
But I've always wondered, like, if it's always been this bad, or we just, like, we were too young to, like, realize what was happening with the world, you know?
We should notice it more.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I know the, like, whole 2008 recession kind of happened, and, you know, the banks getting bailed out and all that stuff, but I have no idea, like, you know, like you said, like, Pelosi, or, like, everyone, all the politicians stock trading, hell, even if, like, it was just, like, done before, just not to, like, it wasn't publicly as known.
Yeah, there's this one Reddit account that turned into a website that has just a godly amount of information on this, but a lot of amateur computer scientists are looking at congressional stock trades, congressional flights, and lobbying data.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like if there's an appropriations committee coming up, you can see what companies have lobbied for that bill.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say Lockheed Martin has spent millions of dollars lobbying for this bill.
Yeah.
You probably want to invest in Lockheed Martin because this bill is probably going to go in their favor. Like just the amount of information that we have to do this and to watch what congressional leaders is doing, it's really cool because we can almost kind of participate in it too, but it's also really scary and dystopian that it's legal, that our Congress can act with insider information, oftentimes against the better nature or like what's good for the American people, because they profit off of it, which which could also dive into the military-industrial complex. Like, war, good. Lockheed Martin's going to pay me money. And when I went to D.C. with Mount, spring break, freshman year, I think we toured Lockheed Martin. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And they talked a lot about space and whatnot. But just the fact that they didn't really talk about like what Lockheed Martin does or like what this complex is, and they want to drive it towards we're doing space exploration. It's so shady. And maybe there's a lot of people at Boise State who live in D.C. and I'd love to kind of maybe live in D.C. at some point and just spectate all of this happening. But also another part of me just wants to move very far away from a city and just participate in nothing and not look at the news and maybe vote in my school board election, but turn off New York Times notifications. Those things are annoying me.
Yeah. I feel like kind of the higher in like government you go, kind of like the more of humanity you need to sacrifice, which is why I think that like state and local elections are just so much more important because like you don't like you're not being paid off by like Lockheed Martin. You're being paid off by like local people. Maybe a Les Wexner or two. No one too big.
That's so much about like what Boise State is. Like it's all like local elections, and you like simulate and you practice these local elections. But your local congressperson obviously does not get the big lobbying bucks.
Yeah.
They're not the big senators, but they can make tangible impact. So yeah, I'm sad that I actually just deregistered to vote a couple of days ago in Ohio, which makes me sad because Ohio, I would just so much rather vote in Ohio as a swing state. Illinois is gonna vote Democrat kind of regardless of what I do. and just being in such a big city, Chicago, you know, my vote counts so much less. But I'd love to vote like in my school board elections at home. I think that's so cool. And if I still lived in Maineville, that's something that I'd still want to be involved in. Yeah. Which is weird. It's not quite. I didn't graduate high school. It's kind of like I want to be more civically engaged and actually make an impact.
Yeah. As
an alumni.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like you went through the process. You want that to be as good, if not better, than for the kids that are going through it right now.
Yeah. Maybe I'll run for school board someday.
Principal.
Note that.
Principal Lofton. That's
future son. I bet me or Josh will run for school board someday.
I feel like Josh is gonna run for every position. Like he's gonna that old meme of like we had of Adam being president of every organization. That's Josh. Like you're just gonna like turn. Oh, like I'm on this board. I'm on this board. Like legit. Like he's already done everything at Ohio State. I don't even know what there is left to do at Ohio State at this point.
Yeah.
What's your relationship look like with your family?
It's good. So Sarah just came down and spent a couple of days with my family, which kind of really puts into perspective my relationship with my family because I know that she's witnessing it. I'm like, dang, what is she thinking? Like, how is she witnessing this all? My little sister and I feel like are good. She is 17 and she is going through just kind of a lot of different life changes. She, I think, finds school a lot more difficult than Spencer and I did, and I try and give her advice, but she's not receptive to it as much, and I feel like that's just kind of a product of me and Spencer constantly being these overbearing older siblings. Spencer and I have always been pretty close, especially at Ohio State. Him and I stay up and play video games, and we fight a lot. Got in a huge argument last night about a stupid resume, but
Tell me.
He's wrong.
Yeah.
But he listens to my advice, and I respect that. My dad and I have very odd things in common, but it's pretty strong. Like if it's like some kind of like athletics, like swimming or running or something like that. Normal adulting things, like him and I talk a lot about taxes and finances and weird things about that, and computer science stuff. Him and I talk about a lot. None of those things I talked about with my mother.
Yeah.
My mom and I are, I'd say, pretty close. I've spent a ton of time with her in these past couple of days, and she would drop anything to hang out with me and drive up to Chicago if I told her to, which is really sweet, and I often take that for granted, but definitely gonna miss them being on my own. I feel like I spent a lot of time with them this summer, more than I have. Even though I've been traveling to Boise State and Europe and whatnot, these past couple of weeks I've spent so much time with them that I'm really gonna miss them.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm happy to hear that. It's a wholesome little family you guys got. I don't know your sister very well, but I know your parents decently, and obviously Glizzy, and yeah, lots of family's great. And how's your dog doing?
She's well. She's slow to walk. My parents want to go to Hawaii for a year. They want to completely move out there for a year in 2026, and they're hoping they can bring Ruby with.
Oh,
that's a long shot. We'll see.
Yeah,
she's troubled.
Yeah, no, she's got that skin thing that's fun though. I will say it
is pretty fun.
Yeah, shout out Ruby.
She's great jealous. Dog. She's a jealous dog.
What is your most unique talent?
My first thought was to answer that like an interview question, and I was like, no, I'm not going to say it like that. It's hard to answer this because we went to such a big school, and I've lived in such a big city all for these past 4 years, so I feel like all of my talents are better, less than someone I know. You know the guys who are working at Google and Microsoft and Apple, or at least you know of someone like that, and you're like, wow, I thought I was good at something, but I'm not as good as them.
Yeah.
I think one thing that maybe I am good at is probably doing a lot of things at once. I don't know why, but I can play a video game and also type an email, and my brain just has the ability to just focus on two things at once. And I just love you, Hudson, but Hudson totally doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because Hudson can definitely put more attention into something, but even though I have my two monitors up, I'm able to completely focus on two different things at once. And I feel like I'm really, really, really bad about writing things down as like a to-do list or I'm going to accomplish this today. But I'm really good at kind of remembering like the different tasks I need to do. Like you've really mastered like the art of writing down a to-do list, but for some reason like I just can't do that. It's not like I don't want to. It's just like I just never get around to it, and that's just not how I work. I can remember most things, and some things I obviously forget, but I can pretty much remember and make a map of what I need to do that day, and I know this is going to serve me well in my career, but I'm able to like fully listen in on a conversation and type at the same time, and I think it's a kind of a neat thing.
Yeah.
To do.
I
don't know.
I feel like I wasted my multitasking abilities in high school because, like, you know, I could do, like you said, like, play video games and do something else at the same time. Now when I try to do that, I'm like, oh, like, hold on, you know, I gotta rewind that, or, you know, like, oh, what am I doing? Like, it's like, I'm losing it, and I envy you for the ability to still have it because, goddamn, it is so nice to be able to do two things at once, like, proficiently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really good at texting and driving. Even though I just got a speeding ticket today, that's completely irrelevant. But which is not a good flex, but it's just an example.
Yeah, hell yeah. You're gonna get that, what is it? DUD? Or DWD? Driving while distracted? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I sent a meme in the Boy State chat today about me getting a ticket. And my friend Seth replied, he's like, you need a lawyer? Because he got a DUI. He's like, I know a good traffic lawyer for you.
Yeah, that's wild. You gotta call Saul. He's gonna get you out of it.
Dude, yeah. I started The Boys, by the way.
Really?
I started the first 3 episodes. I was like, damn, either going to watch this or Better Call Saul now. The Boys is really interesting.
Yeah, I think also, like, I heard the satire in this season is very more outside of, outside of just superhero stuff. Like I said, because of all the irons in the forge, I had a watch list for this summer. I haven't started on it. I made that in May.
Have you heard about, like, the Hero-gasm episode?
I have avoided spoilers completely. I desubbed from the Boys subreddit.
Do you know the concept of the episode?
No, I don't want to. I'm avoiding it fully. I want to go on blind.
So, okay, well, it's like I don't really know much about it, but it's like a special episode.
Yeah.
It's meant to be like a special episode of
Yeah.
sorts, and I've seen so much stuff about it on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'll watch The Boys.
The only thing I did get ruined for myself is, like, some sort of Blue Lives Matter speech that, like, people got upset about of some sort.
Yeah, I've probably seen a video about that,
Yeah.
but that makes sense. I feel like there is a lot of, like, satire in that.
Yeah. I think season 1's, like, the most reliant on, or not reliant, but, like, superhero satire mostly. Season 2 kind of, like, starts, like, in very specific areas poking around politically, and then season 3 I heard just, like, goes full blown. But, like, I'm okay with that because I feel like all the characters, especially Homelander, you know, like, Anthony Starr, low-key terrible person in real life, which means he's great to play the Homelander, but I don't know, I'm so excited because that's the number one thing on my list, like, once I have time for it, because yeah, I'm so excited.
In season 1, and I know they've been marketing the hell out of Homelander for later seasons. I know that he's such a big character, but in these first 3 episodes, like, he's really not. Like, it's the AV guy. God, I don't know his name.
Huey?
Yep, probably. And then the Butcher. I feel like that's they've been like the real focus. And of course, you like get introduced to the Seven, and Homelander's there, and you know that he's an ominous character.
Yeah.
But it's the full attention isn't on him as much as I would have thought because of how much they market him for the show.
Well, I'll say this one thing. There's a scene with an airplane, and
I've already seen that scene on TikTok.
You've already seen the scene?
Yeah.
Okay, lives in my head rent free. It is just like, I love that show. I'm glad you started. Better Call Saul is also on my list because they released season 5 on Netflix. So
yeah,
a lot of stuff to watch.
Have you had the big spoiler out of that?
Nope.
Better Call Saul. Okay.
I've
also seen that on TikTok.
Yeah, no, like, when I've avoided film and TV TikTok this far, and I don't think I'm gonna get on it because I'm just too afraid of getting stuff spoiled.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah, I can never watch Better Call Saul with an open mind.
Who was the last person you fell in love with?
Oh yeah, Sarah, easy. And I wonder what your other answers are for this because I feel like mine's not as juicy.
Most people I've interviewed have had girlfriends, so
yeah. I want to hear Derek's in particular. I want to watch Derek's.
Derek, I need to edit his. I'm currently editing Sophia's right now, which was filmed May 4th. So yeah, to say I'm backed up is, but I've told myself I'm getting it to her by the end of Friday. like day Friday, whether that be work day or day.
Yeah.
Not sure, but yeah, dude, I'm so bad. That was bad.
No,
But
that makes sense.
it also kind of is fun because like you do have that little gap between like when you film and when you like rewatch it because it's like, oh, like almost all of these, by the time it gets out to that person, they've moved. So like Derek's he'll be in LA, you'll be in Chicago.
I'm gonna have shaved and have a haircut by then.
My friend Nanth is gonna be in Philly. Kirk is gonna be, I guess, downtown. So is Waylon. But like, like everyone will have moved. Which is it's kind of fun to have that like little window back in like right before you left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, Sarah's an easy answer there.
Yeah.
Dating for a year, went to New York and Europe together, and fun stories. I'm excited to move to Chicago with her, and then if we're still dating in a number of years, probably move in with her, and the rest will figure itself out there.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the continuation of that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see where that goes.
Yeah. What were you doing when you first got the news of COVID?
I think it's my birthday.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, the big news of COVID that I really think of is you can't return to the dorms. Mm-hmm. And I'm like pretty sure that my birthday was the day that we found out that this isn't like an extended spring break, that we get kicked out of the dorms.
Yeah.
So March 18th, and it was, I just remember getting an email, and like whenever I think of anything, I pace. I'm a big pacer, so like if I'm ever thinking of anything like intently, if I'm on a phone call, I pace back and forth. Whenever I do phone interviews or like camera off interviews or calls, like I'll just put on my headset and just like walk around the room. It's really I really love doing that. Yeah. And I just paced around my patio, and I'm sure my dog followed me, and probably just talking, and everyone just kind of being like, "What's happening? What's going on?" I was definitely confused, and I feel like it's becoming such a more distant memory. Just because we didn't really participate in social distancing as much as most people.
Yeah.
When I talk to Sarah, she talks about having her entire junior year almost robbed because she never went out and her house didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. But ours did. We fully had parties, and we fully met up with people, and we had our little COVID scares. But I feel like the only thing that COVID like truly 100% robbed from me was my sophomore year internship in that summer. Mm-hmm. Right, because we adapted junior year, virtual classes, yes, sucked. Senior year, a little bit of COVID here, a little bit of COVID there, still sucked. That's something that we lived with, but I feel like we weren't robbed completely.
Yeah, I think junior year was definitely different. Like the difference between junior and senior year, like I feel like we spent so much time in this house versus like not nearly as much.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, the amount of times we just all like spent in the house like together, just doing whatever, and
that made senior year feel really weird and distant because particularly Josh. Like Josh, I used to talk to so much junior year because him and I were doing research together, and senior year like we still talked a decent amount, but he would go and do his clubs and I would go and do my clubs, and we'd be on campus all the time, and our schedules wouldn't intersect, and it's almost like I was like, dang, did you just get so much busier? But it's like, no, like shit's in person now, so. It was really nice. I mean, there is kind of the silver lining. Like, it was nice to have everyone here junior year, like, all the time. Mm-hmm. And I feel like senior year I didn't really get to see any of everyone as much.
Yeah.
But I only felt that way because we were all here all the time junior year.
Yeah. I think junior year was good for us because we definitely bonded a lot more as a house than we would have. Especially us and Ben. Mm-hmm. Like, as the humble outsider who came in and killed it, as someone on Community once said. Because everything relates back to that show. How do you view your religion?
I don't really much. I don't have too many comments here. I was confirmed in the Catholic faith, but I don't really practice it as much. I've enjoyed going to Mass in college, particularly with friends when we walked from Bowen. I thought that was really fun, and even though I don't really find myself praying or practicing the Catholic faith outside of any given Sunday, it was really nice to go with friends and sit in a Mass and not be on my phone for an hour and completely disconnect. I think that the values of Christianity have become so unbelievably politicized, and this is just another relevant topic to Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
I mean, God really preaches, like, love thy neighbor, and in some ways, some people see that like your sins can be forgiven, and just the belief that Christianity is constantly looking over each other's shoulder and shaming people for their sins, and all of that, like everything just became so politicized. Laura Boebert, I forget her name because I don't really care to learn it. She's a Republican congresswoman.
Mm-hmm.
She sucks. She just went on a stage the other day and preached that that the Christian faith decides what the government should do, not the other way around, which is a complete contradictory to the First Amendment. But especially with Roe v. Wade being overturned, and that's kind of my whole point here. I know I'm rambling, but the Christian faith shouldn't drive the political agenda, and the more that it does, the cringier that I feel for like taking part of it and like identifying with that faith.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I feel like having problems with your religion is kind of a given. Nothing's perfect, but I don't know. I feel like as time going on, and as everything has been politicized, especially religion, and like kind of people have kind of adapted, and they've been like, like to your point, like my religion will choose my politics, or I'm just gonna distance myself from it.
Yeah, I don't really identify with the politics that strong Christian believers practice. Like I know Veronica, who's been a good friend of mine. She identifies Republican and is liberal and for diversity and inclusion and a lot of those, in a lot of that sense. But she's very anti-abortion, and that's like her thing. And I don't know. So I've never believed that. I've always believed that a woman should have the right to choose, and fundamentally a government shouldn't have the ability to tell people what to do with their bodies. I think that's a really easy thing to believe, but yeah, again, I'm sorry I keep talking about that so much. It's just so unbelievably relevant right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big thing. I mean, we're living in an unprecedented moment in our lifetime. As there's so many of them.
That word is
unprecedented has lost so much meaning over the last 2 years. It's crazy. Everything is unprecedented, But I think it's been interesting to talk to Badzik about it, just because like he has the judicial view of it. Of like, he said to me like, they're not overturning like the right to abortion. They're overturning how the case was like, how.
You're right, it's passed to the states.
Yeah.
So and that's another shortcoming of our federal government. Like, everyone's like, oh, Roe v. Wade could have been made a federal law.
Yeah.
And it's the only reason that it's overturned and that abortion is not like a federal right is because they've not passed a law on it, and that's just how that's interpreted. So yeah, everybody sucks.
Yeah, that's the government for it.
Everybody sucks.
Yeah.
I hope we unsuck ourselves, but that's a question for 2024.
Yeah. I mean, the problem for me is, like, to your earlier point of, like, moving away, like, I'm applying to my Canadian citizenship just because, like, I can. Mm-hmm. It's, like, it takes 2
years. Do you have
to
renounce your U.S. citizenship?
Nope. You can just, because my dad is a Canadian, or was born Canadian, I can get it. Michaela did it in, like, May of 2020, got her citizenship in, like, February of this year. Like, you just send the application, takes, like, almost 2 years, but then, like, hey.
Whoa, that's a while.
Yeah, they just, like, it's taken to, like, somewhere in Nova Scotia and just sits on a desk. And, like, theoretically, you could just fall off, but, like, yeah. So, the problem for me is, like, one, I heard, like, I know, like, taxes there are obviously a lot higher, but, like, I heard, like, Toronto especially is, like, as expensive as New York. And then I've also heard from some of my Canadian cousins that, like, take this with a grain of salt because I've only talked to, like, a few of them. I'm not sure how all of this works, but because the lines are so long for a bunch of different healthcare stuff that, like, they have to get their own private healthcare in Canada, which is public healthcare.
Yeah.
So, and then also, like, they'll be like, oh, like, haha, Trump did this, but then, like, have to realize Trudeau did all this stuff. Because, like, I was talking with my one cousin about this for a while at Gabby's wedding, and just, like, it's kind of like you point and laugh, but then you have to live with the reality of, like, hey, you're still dealing with, like, a politician that, like, is not the best, because no politicians are.
Yeah. I don't really follow too much foreign politics. All I know is that I think it's Boris Johnson just got absolutely railed by his parliament for partying. I think that's so funny.
Yeah, shout out the UK. They don't have good teeth or a good government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The U.S. isn't the only ones with problems.
What's your biggest regret?
There's a lot of them. I mean, I'm just gonna kind of jump through a couple of things.
Go for it.
It's hard to say on the spot what my biggest regret is. Like, I regret not having a checkbook to not do this stupid Chicago rent thing. That's a goofy one that just comes to mind first.
Yeah.
I regret doing computer science within the College of Engineering a lot of days.
Yeah, we both.
I wish I did that within the. I wish I did info systems really.
Yeah.
I think that my GPA would have been better. I think I would have made a lot of different connections at college that maybe would have put me somewhere that I felt more comfortable. Like, I never really identified with the College of Engineering or with a group of people in it, but I feel like I probably would have within Fisher. Just given our friends.
Yeah.
I talked to Sujit about that forever. In Europe, I was like, man, like, what's like one change I could have made that would have completely, like, derailed the college experience? And mine would have been like joining Mount or being CSE. Like, if I would have done CSE and info systems or not joined Mount, like, that would have completely like de-leveled my entire college experience as I know it.
Yeah.
Other regrets. I think the first thing that kind of came to mind, and I really don't know how to unpack this, but was how things ended with Lucy when I dated her. The whole situation was super weird, and I feel like things didn't really end well. And I'm not saying that like, oh my god, I wish I was still dating Lucy.
Yeah.
But Lucy is such a phenomenal person, and I feel like it was just weird the way that it that everything happened. I wish I could kind of go back and change that, but that's also just kind of a symptom of being young.
Yeah.
And figuring out complex relationships like that. I could also say I wish I invested in Bitcoin. I also kind of wish I took out student loans is another thing too. It's just kind of a really weird thing to say. Now that I think about it, I'm probably going to regret actually saying that. That's probably not a good thing to say, but I'll get there. Hold on. I have paid for my entire college experience in rent and whatnot out of pocket, but I've worked 2 to 3 jobs since then. I'm working 2 jobs this summer, in addition to traveling, and I've worked since my freshman year, and it has really worn me down, and it's taken away so many different college experiences that I don't even know about. Like, there are things that would have happened that I wouldn't have known about, and if I maybe would have had a little bit of loan money to maybe allow me to not have 2 jobs, I think that would have helped. And the other thing another factor too is that, like, being in computer science, like, I'm not going to have a low enough salary that's going to prohibit me from not paying off my student loans.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I could have looked at that differently, or maybe reevaluated that situation earlier in my college career, because especially my junior year when I was doing building manager and Mount, like, I ran from Beer Olympics to go work at the Union, and I was hammered, which was funny. I don't regret doing that particularly, but
I remember that.
I felt like I pulled myself out of so many situations to work, and I have the rest of my life to do that.
Yeah. I think money is, like we were talking about, money and memories. You know, they're related, and unfortunately, it's just. I do see your point about, like, getting student loans, just like something to help subsidize though, like.
Yeah, and that's such a stupid thing to say. Like, nobody ever says, I wish I would have taken out student loans, and even if I went back and I, like, slapped myself in the face and said to do it, I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, and I'm phrasing that as maybe the regret is that I didn't spend more time, or I spent too much time working, but it happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you get something out of it too. I mean, all the union stories that I've heard, you know, like, so many drunk people, so many stupid people.
So many homeless people.
Yeah, you can tell those stories for your life, and, you know, I know your connection with Mount, especially through student coordinators. Just like, whether or not you had to do 2 jobs, I'm sure you would have done that still. So.
Yeah, and I don't regret doing that by any means.
Yeah.
Working the union sucked. The more I think about it, I was like, dang, I worked to accomplish nothing. I just kind of worked for Ohio State. But Mount was pretty cool. I like going on retreats. Retreats were fun.
Look, let me tell you, there's a guy at my job who, do you know what Splunk is at all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he was the student Splunk, he, like, essentially, like, set up Ohio State's like Splunk stuff
Mhm.
for $12 an hour back in like the mid to late 2000s. I want to say. Someone was telling me that like a similar job, like someone got offered a similar job like for full time at that point of like setting up a company as like Splunk out in Chicago for $400,000. So he was doing this 20 hours a week while also doing like ECE.
400,000.
Yeah, in 2000 mid to late 2000s money. Yeah, so
It's like a quarter. That's like $750,000. Dang, inflation.
yeah,
Inflation.
dude,
That's the other thing right now.
yeah, inflation sucks. Yeah, Biden's America, but no, actually, we're just kind of living in unprecedented times.
True gasoline pump dystopia.
Dude, I'm so thankful to not have a car right now because just like my favorite game is just looking at like Lane Shell and just like what's the price of gas gonna be today? It's tough.
Yeah, I just paid $86 to fill up the Pilot.
Jeez, that's
On top of the speeding ticket.
yeah.
That also sucks.
Yeah, I thought it was bad last summer. What are you most worried about?
Things that come to mind instantly is work and Sarah. I'm worried that Sarah and I aren't going to be on the same page at some point. Like Sarah and I have been we've overlapped so much in our relationship. Like we've both been in OUAB, we both have the same friend group, but we don't. And just because we've had so much in common, our relationship has really been able to kind of flourish. And we're both going to work for the same company, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But I worry that at some point maybe she'll want to go and do something different, or maybe I'll want to go and do something different. And I don't really know how to describe it. Like I'm just worried that everything in our relationship has kind of worked out perfectly to this point.
Yeah.
We've not really had any problems, and I know that at least among my friends, like long relationships have problems.
Yeah.
And I think I'm worried that maybe that's going to happen someday, and I hope that I react to it well, whatever that is, and I know that. Like moving in together, being something in the future, or the big M word. I don't know how that lines up in her future plans versus mine.
Yeah.
And I hope that's not something that completely deteriorates our relationship, and like kind of going back to what I said about Lucy, like her and I just had such a large miscommunication.
Yeah.
And it was really unfortunate, and that's something I regret. And I hope that even though it's a completely different situation, I hope that we still are able to kind of work through whatever comes our way. The other thing is work. Like I really hope that I'm doing something meaningful. At Deloitte, there's just so much to do, and I could be on a project for 3 to 6 months, and I would just kind of have to suck it up and be on that project for a little bit. But I hope I'm able to move to something I want to do, and I hope I find that something. For a while, it's always been media and entertainment, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the future, and I hope I find whatever that is, and I'm able to make a cool career out of it. Pretty cliche answers, but it's true.
Hey, I mean, it's cliche for a reason,
Yeah.
I'm sure whatever happens with you and Sarah, you'll make the right decision. I know you always do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then with work, 36 months is a long time, but at the same time,
3 to 6, not 36.
I'd say 36.
Yes. I hope it's not 36 months. If I am on a project for 36 months, then
3 to 6 months.
No, you're right.
Yeah. So 36 months is a long time, but you stay or you make your way up the food chain and you do the real cool projects, and yeah, it'll be a process, but I'm sure that looking back in a couple of years, you'll be like, it was worth it.
Yeah, I just phrased those responses to that question. I hope that future Sean really knows what I just said, because I don't even know what I said. So
I'm sure he will. What's the hardest thing that's happened to you this past year?
I'm just gonna start spitballing things again. the fear of not graduating was really, really, really heavy. My grades in particular, the weight of working and doing classes that I genuinely didn't care about was really difficult. I'm trying to think about what class. I don't even remember what finals I took this semester. What classes did I take this semester?
33, 41.
Yeah, okay, that class sucked.
Yep.
And Kirby's class, data mining, which I knew mathematically I was fine, but you still, especially like the final, whatever.
Yeah.
I just, it was a really, really heavy weight that I wouldn't graduate, and my GPA tanked, and that was a really heavy weight that I wasn't, that Deloitte would maybe rescind my offer. And then I have this lease that I signed in Chicago, but I didn't have a job. Like, it's been, ever since spring finals to probably the day that I start my job, it's just been a constant stress that something's going to fall through.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everything is so close to falling through. Like with maybe not graduating, and then my flight getting delayed to Europe, and the stress associated with travel, and then my apartment almost falling through because our checks didn't go through, or problems there. Like it's just been like holding on for dear hope, and everything just happens to work out for the past couple of months. And man, I just hope that with like whatever a salary looks like, and the stability of having a routine schedule, I think that's gonna cheer up a lot of the stress that I've been feeling.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear you've been going through all that stress, but like you said, is great as like having kind of that fluidity that college brings. There's a niceness to just like, what's gonna happen every day at roughly the same time, and also like being able to like schedule things you want in that time. Like, I don't know, for example, flossing, pills, or whatever the fuck. I mean, like, dude, I was so bad at flossing and like lotions and all that stuff during.
I just imagine that.
Yeah, no. Every morning at 9:05, I hit one of these and one of those. But I mean, yeah, they're. I'm gonna miss college, but at the same time, like, just you work to your or you can build your routine however you want, and it can be the same every day. It can be different every day. It's really up to you, and it's kind of also like just 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That's it. No homework. No nothing. Like, sure, you have personal responsibilities and stuff, but like, when you're done with work, you're done with work. There's no bring stuff home.
Kind of. I mean, it depends on who you ask. Like, I think I'll work from home a lot. I know that I get a company phone, which is a blessing and a curse of they're not texting me, but I'll be expected to pick up. I'm sure a lot of people in this house and you someday will find that 9 to 5 in our increasingly digital world isn't real anymore.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, I hope I figure out is how I rebound from my mistakes, because like as you mentioned, college, like there's a lot of fluidity in things, but you can make a mistake and it's fine. Like, you bomb an exam, like that sucks. You're not gonna get the grade that you want.
Yeah. But
you're still gonna pass the class. And I'm a really, really clumsy person. Like, I make a lot of mistakes very often, but it's just a bigger league of mistakes.
Yeah.
Like making a mistake in high school and you being told like you can't get away with that in college. That type of thing.
I think that's what your 20s are for like kind of like fumbling and bumbling into the real world, because like, who cares? You're like not like, I mean, obviously you're like are representing a company or whatever the fuck, but like, you don't have like kids to worry about or a wife to worry about, or like you're just like a starting level person, or like all this stuff. Like, that's kind of how it's been explained to me by so many different people, of like, no one cares about you, so you can kind of do whatever you want. So I think, as a klutz myself, I'm going to be stumbling, bumbling, and fumbling everything during my 20s. But then as soon as I hit 30, I'm going to be a sharp and poignant man, because that's how it works.
What's oh my god, Sharp Dressed Man, that song?
Was it top?
Yeah. It was, my first thought was the Duck Dynasty theme song. Yeah, I think of that. The Boy State counselors too. A lot of them are like there's such a huge range of like literally 18 to people like in their 60s.
Yeah.
And there's like 20s, like late 20s, 30s, and I've seen, especially like since I've gotten closer with a lot of those guys, and I'm hearing about some of the different life things that happen at their age. I know that I'll have a really good support system there, and I don't really know and I don't really know what that looks like. When you say late 20s, like I see myself being married by late 20s. But it's really interesting talking to Ben, who doesn't want to be married until he's 40, which I think he's probably said something like that on this video. But
Yeah, I haven't done him yet.
he will. He probably will.
He'll probably be here next week or the following week. Badsy doesn't want to do it until after he's accepted, or like either accepted or started law school. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he refuses to do it.
He won't be here.
He'll be in, he won't be living here though. Is like
Yeah.
I want to get because Ben and him are like going downtown, but like I want to get them before they leave. So
Yeah.
that's Badzik. If you're watching this, I respect your decision, but I hate you a little bit for it. What's something that made you laugh really hard recently?
Just recently, the Boys State Discord. There's this. So there are a lot of. So it's ran by the American Legion, right? These veterans put it on, and sometimes the counselors or these veterans who put it on have kids. Specifically, there's this one guy who has a daughter who's 17.
Yeah.
And one of the counselors who was 19 was like, "Yo, I got her number with Snapchat." And we've been flaming him because we're like, "Dude, she's a minor."
Right.
And he's like, but she turns 18 in a month, and we're just like, stop talking, dude. He gets flamed. I went to a drag show kind of recently.
Really?
That was really cool. That was really fun. Really fun to laugh at. It's not something I've ever done before. I haven't laughed a ton like super recently because I've been super stressed. I'm trying to think back to something else. Being in Barcelona with a big group of people, I definitely laughed a lot. But I couldn't tell you what specifically.
Oh, no worries. It's kind of
Just
this is the most niche question,
Yeah.
like in the whole thing. So it's like,
definitely the Boys State memes.
Yeah.
They're great.
who is your hero?
God, I actually just answered this question semi recently. My first thoughts are my parents because I feel like they've sacrificed a lot to give me the opportunities that I've had. If I probably had like one true individual hero, it'd probably be my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only grandparent I have left. She's the only grandparent I've had for a few years. She's been by herself. And she's had to deal with kind of a lot of like financial issues because she doesn't work and she spends all her time volunteering and like hanging out with her grandchildren and like helping take care of my cousin, and she just spends her entire existence giving to other people, and is always awake, always able to take a call, and she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
She's really, really, really awesome, and I know she tries her hardest in everything she does. It's awesome. I really root for her all the time.
What's your favorite tradition?
My first thought with tradition is that like I've kind of done the same. I've had the same cycle for years, right?
Yeah.
Go to school, come home. It used to be my favorite tradition. Used to be high school homecoming dances when I have all my friends over.
Yeah.
I would say probably some variation of that. We go camping at my friend Andy's house. We call it Don's.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite tradition. That's super, super cool. He has this patch of land somewhere out on his farm that's right by the river. We go camping there, and there was one time he has this field, and we all took our cars and did donuts in the field, and we made Ben cross the river in the dark, and somebody drove like their Jeep in the river, and we put our headlights on him, threw rocks at him, and Bun started screaming, and yeah, I feel like that's probably my favorite, or one of my favorite traditions right now, just because I feel like it won't happen again. Maybe more than like once or twice, if ever again.
Yeah, it's a good tradition. It sounds like a lot of fun. A lot of memories created from that.
Yeah, I know there's some stupid college things that we've done. I'm totally just blanking on. What are some college traditions we do?
That we do? I mean,
I don't think we have like many traditions.
our house kind of doesn't really have any other than like watching How I Met Your Mother. I wouldn't really say the tradition. It's more just
Yeah, no, but I get what you mean.
Yeah. It's more been like a joke or two that's been like oh well, no, because like Adam being in love with the Minions is like a joke more than a tradition, or him with Laugh Now Cry Later.
Or reality when the Minions drops on Friday, July 1st.
Yeah.
Will you be seeing Minions: The Rise of Gru?
I'm going to wear a suit and tie when I go see it.
Nice.
You couldn't be bothered to get me doing anything else than seeing the Minions: Rise of Gru. The soundtrack on that movie is insane.
You listen to the Yeet song?
No, I don't like Lil Lee, but like Brockhampton's maybe last song ever is on that. Like, because they broke up.
Yeah.
And then there's just like a bunch of different covers by like the weirdest people. Like, I don't know. It's like somehow a star-studded and like eclectic soundtrack. It's wild.
And I'm. This is totally like just a very niche pop culture thing that we're talking about right now. But this movie, I hope it doesn't. I don't think it'll flop like Morbius.
No, because I feel like Morbius, no one actually wanted to see it. Whereas like, because
there's just as much like pre-movie hype
Yeah.
for this as there was Morbius, but
Yeah.
people will actually go and see this.
I was at Caitlin's birthday party, and I want to say it wasn't Chloe. It was maybe Kylie, maybe Caitlin. Someone was babysitting this summer, and apparently, like, they were saying that like every day the kids and her play Minions, and like they're so excited to see the new Minions movie, and like the one kid like is waiting to go to IHOP for his birthday because he wants to eat from the Minions menu.
Yeah.
So, which she's gonna have to take him early because like it's gonna be gone by the time. But like, they're like unlike Morbius, this has actual fans that aren't there for the memes. But I feel like also this one like it's not gonna be Morbius bad. You know, it's like it's gonna be a Minions movie at the end of the day.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah,
God.
kids are gonna have fun. Adults are gonna have a lot of fun.
Note to future Sean: look up if there's a Morbius sequel.
What Morbius 2? Stay Morbin isn't greenlit already.
I don't know, man. I saw this one TikTok that was like facts about the Morbius, like really cool facts about the Morbius movie. It's the highest grossing Sony movie or Sony superhero movie that's not in the Venom or Spider-Man franchise.
Dude, it made it sold 1 more billion tickets. Like, what do you need?
It's the highest grossing movie in which Jared Leto plays a vampire. You know that?
Did you see the video of Jared Leto on Instagram of like him reading the Morbius 2 script?
I saw like clips of it.
Yeah, dude. It's like he's in on the show. It's the only movie to flop twice. Like they re-released it and it flopped again. How do you do that?
That's a real timepiece right there.
Dude, Morbius. Dude.
It's the Titanic of our time.
I'd say more the Avatar of our time.
You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know if Avatar 2 is going to flop.
I kind of think it is, but Avatar 1 was supposed to be the biggest box office bomb of all time, and now it's the highest grossing film of all time. So you can't tell.
James Cameron pulled that out of his ass.
What's the best thing that's happened to you in this past month?
Man, this whole month has just been boy state and packing and hanging out with Sarah. Probably my last couple of days with Sarah. I think really cool. I haven't seen her in 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and I'm not going to see her for another week. Which is kind of sad. I definitely miss her, but the time that she spent with my family was really, really, really cool. I'm glad that I was able to do that. That's probably the best memory I've had in the last month.
It's awesome.
Individual memory.
Where do you still see yourself going in the next 5 years, personally and professionally?
Professionally, honest to God, I have no clue. I could be with Deloitte. I could not be with Deloitte. I really don't really know. I don't see myself in Chicago more than 5 years. I'd be surprised, honestly, if I'm still in Chicago. I think either New York, Boston, or DC will probably be my next place I go. And then probably eventually Columbus after that. Sarah has talked about wanting to live in Columbus a lot, and especially if her and I stay together, her being from Cleveland, me being from Cincinnati, I think it's a very opportunistic place. Personally, probably engaged if I'm still dating Sarah at that point. Probably, I know that I want to do maybe some kind of freelance work at some point, but I don't think that'll fully take itself off in 5 years. I think I'll still be doing some kind of like full-time, either consulting or maybe more niche product management or software development role. Don't really know what that looks like. Really, I think one thing that I'm trying to do is keep in touch with people. I think that's my biggest goal. I want to kind of get a sheet going of people I haven't talked to in a really long time and try and reach out to them and have like more like intentional just like quick phone calls or conversations with like Abby and Tatum, for example, or Peter, like people that I haven't talked to in forever. But I was super close with at one point. Like I feel like I could be doing more there, and that's something that I'm excited to do, and the kind of that as I move out. So I hope that I'm still keeping up with that goal. I hope that I'm still keeping in touch with people. I hope I'm going to a lot of weddings, and I hope to God, Will Donlan, if you ever see this, I'm the best man at your wedding. I think he's probably going to, allegedly, his girlfriend told me that he's allegedly going to propose by the end of this year.
How long have they been dating?
I don't know, but they moved in together at the beginning of this month, and they have a dog.
I feel like they skipped some steps.
No, they definitely did.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to be...
I don't really know. Will Donlan is just a continuous mystery in my life, but...
Yeah, no, I get it.
They have a dog. Like, that's like...
That's like a year 6 thing. That's like you've been married for like a year and like...
They've been dating for like a year and a half. And they
Yeah.
moved in together in Atlanta. Like far as hell. And they have a dog.
Like the dog is the test kit. You don't just get a dog for no reason.
Like, they haven't even been living together for a while.
Yeah. That's...
We've all been living here for 2 years, and there's no way we can put a dog in this house.
This house specifically, definitely not, because there's so many hazards, but I feel like if I was to like move and like live with Evan, like, or Adam or whoever, like, I feel like I could like take care of a dog, but I wouldn't want to like getting into my 9-to-5 life. I feel like I'd need to be okay, and like before I could take care of something else, especially something like a dog that's like kind of needy.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, future Sean, you gotta check in on them.
Yeah. Shout out that dog. Definitely a cute boy, wherever it is.
Girl, her name's April.
Cute girl, April. Whenever I pass a dog on campus or on a trail or wherever, I always tell the owner it's a cute dog. It's my...
Even if it's an ugly ass dog.
There's no such thing as an ugly ass dog.
I'm trying to think of ugly dogs.
Except maybe pit bulls. I don't like pit bulls.
But but you'll still tell it's cute.
Yeah. All dogs are cute dogs. Well, Pitbull also, Mr. Worldwide, like, he's cute as fuck. Yeah.
Performed at that one Walmart once.
And Kodak?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, I mean, picture him with a Kodak, and then take a picture of him with a Kodak.
It's the one good thing Facebook has done for society.
What, like, Pitbull memes, or?
No, Walmart did a competition on Facebook where it's like the Walmart that gets the most likes, Pitbull will go and perform at.
Well, there was a similar thing with Taylor Swift, where it was like, choose a like school for like Taylor Swift. The overwhelming majority was Horace Mann's School for the Deaf.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a link to a video after this.
That's so sad.
Have you ever seen anything by the Internet Historian?
I don't think so.
Maybe
once. But...
He's maybe my favorite channel on YouTube. Like he covers like he has a video called "Any Polls a Goal," just about like the terrible results of like internet polls of like that story, even more. And he also like has a New Zealand accent, which I love. Like New Zealand people sound sick. What do you want to do by the next time we film? I don't know when that'll be, but at least a year from now is what I've been saying.
Man, I definitely want to be able to grow facial hair.
Yeah,
this little scruff thing is, I haven't seen Sarah in a month beard, but God, I hope I can grow facial hair by then.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that I just feel financially secure. I think I just feel comfortable like where I am. Like again, this huge transition process and moving has really confused me and there's just so many moving parts. Like I want to feel comfortable with where I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just like I know what I'm doing, ish.
Okay, well, that ends the conversational part of our podcast. Wrapping up here, I got some quick hitters for you. Just I'm gonna ask it. You say the first thing that comes to your mind. If you need a second to think about it, go for it. But
got it.
Try not to overthink it.
Let's do it.
So this is a moment in the mind of Sean Philip Lofton. What's a song that's been stuck in your head recently?
The Minions song by Yeet, Rich Minion. It's all over TikTok. It's so funny.
Really?
It's really funny. It's literally Yeet, but like he's never made a clean song before, but he's literally rapping about minions and how they hate Vector and how they're hopping in the whip. It is hilarious. It's stuck in my head.
I'm gonna need to listen to that.
You actually should listen to it. It's only 2 minutes.
Yeah. What's one of your favorite quotes or lyrics?
I've been seeing a lot of motivational stuff from Chet Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that dude says right now is he's the meme among my hometown friends. Because did you watch that one Chet Hanks video?
The one where he's like impersonating Jamaican people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He's
so interesting. So literally anything that Chet Hanks posts online is any motivational thing he posts online, probably that.
Love it. What's the best show or movie you've seen in the past month?
I just started The Boys. That's definitely the biggest thing. I feel like I watched a really good movie recently, but I'm totally blanking on what it is. Yeah, probably. I just gotta say The Boys by default. I feel like it's just the last thing that I've seen in a while.
Yeah. What's the best thing you binged recently?
Probably Stranger Things season 4. That's the last thing I finished most of that in one sitting with my family. It was a good watch.
That's awesome. What's the best book you've read recently?
I haven't really read books, but I did watch the limited. I haven't read anything in a really long time, but I did watch a limited series on Hulu about the book Looking for Alaska, and it was kind of ass.
Yeah,
it kind of sucked, but it was a fun watch.
Yeah,
it was bad, but it was a good time. I enjoyed myself.
I love a good bad time.
And I read the book a really long time ago.
Okay,
so
it counts.
It counts. It counts. It was a good time.
Yeah. What's your current or most recent job?
Technical operations, documentation intern at COT Systems, student coordinator for Mount. Both what I'm doing right now, incoming solutions analyst at Deloitte Consulting.
Do you own kids, and if so, how many?
2. Growing up in a family with 3 siblings, there's always one that picks on the other. So either 2 or 4, but probably leaning 2.
What's your favorite spot to eat nearby, whether it be sit down or fast food?
Damn, I've really been craving Catalina's recently. Like, I never wake up early enough to go there. Like, I only go there on, like, a weekend, but their breakfast tacos are incredible. That, and I just got some Jenny's, like, peach ice cream. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've really, really wanted Catalina's. I'll probably go there tomorrow, actually.
Never been.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Is that, like, kind of by Forno, or?
No, it's up. I think it's I go to the one like that's kind of like in Clintonville.
Gotcha.
There may be one down there, but it's just like breakfast food. Their breakfast tacos are really, really good.
Not a big breakfast guy, but I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, neither am I. But like it just hits.
Yeah.
It just like hits.
I gotcha. What's something you think is underrated?
I really like house music. I feel like house music and just EDM in general often gets a bad rap, particularly among Adam. Adam, if you're watching this, fuck you. But I like it. I think it's cool, and I just really enjoy listening to it casually, which I feel like people who like house music or EDM love to listen to it out at a bar, but don't find themselves listening to it casually.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something that my personality radiates as underrated. I wish we both got into that.
Like it. What's your biggest hot take?
That you can study to house music is probably one of those. Yeah, or probably that. I feel like whenever throughout college, like when I would study to like EDM music, I would just get kind of laughed at and judged and told, haha, you're weird. You're not the guy. And I'd be like, listen, I am the guy. I can just study to this.
Yeah.
And yeah. And that Adam sucks, and his take on house music sucks.
You and Emily Sonsgone are the only 2 people I've ever met that study to like EDM.
I think it's therapeutic and nice. Like it's a beat that it's like a very prevalent beat, and I can just like focus and like get in a rhythm with that, especially when I'm coding.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
I don't know. I'm very like I need complete silence, so
yeah,
very different.
That makes sense. Or if like there's words, like there's not always a ton of words.
Yeah.
EDM music, like when there's words, my brain starts to drift.
Yeah. What's your favorite quality about yourself?
Probably my ability to make shit up. When I was looking over Spencer's resume last night, Spencer has like a lot of really good experience, and he's so much smarter than me. But Spencer, particularly like an interview sense, isn't super light on his feet or can like make things up. And I know I say a lot, but I feel like when I'm asked a question or I'm told to go do something, like I can respond pretty quickly, and I'm pretty snappy with that.
Yeah.
I think that's probably one of my greater strengths.
Yeah. What's your favorite outfit?
Right now, I was just thinking about it today. It was the tan New Balances, my orange pants, and this like tannish cream sweater that Sarah got me. It's really comfy. It's definitely not a summer fit, but it's super comfy.
Love it.
I like it. You can wear it up or wear it down, kinda.
Yeah.
I like it.
What's your biggest hobby?
Personal coding projects, I feel like used to be a really prevalent one. I just haven't had time for that. I just hopped on kind of a new project recently. I hope that I'm still really into personal coding projects. I haven't ran in a really long time, and I feel like people who like ran cross country or track can always say that like running's a hobby, and I feel like I've said that in a lot of circumstances, but now at this point I'm just lying. I haven't ran in a really long time. One hobby I wish I could get really back into is swimming. I just was a timer for my little sister's swim meet last night. Swimming's really cool. I wish I would get back into that.
You're stuck on a deserted island. You can only bring one thing. What are you bringing? It can't be a boat. If it's electronic, doesn't have signal, anything else goes.
I'm just gonna say the first thing that came to mind. The Costco vitamin C gummies that my mom keeps buying me.
Really?
I don't know why. I feel like I want my nutrients on a deserted island, and they're like kind of good.
Scurvy's a real problem. Let me tell you.
Scurvy is a real problem. I feel like the vitamin C gummies would take me a long way.
Who are your best friends?
I have never. I don't really use the word best friend, just because I had such a large high school friend group, and because I had such a large college friend group, I never really used the term best friend. I think Sarah's my best friend right now, which is a really cheesy thing to say, but I feel like she just understands what's happening in my life most prevalently. Easy to say my housemates. I feel like I don't. Not as close with anyone in OUAB as I used to be. Definitely my housemates as kind of a whole, but in a completely separate way, but still meaningful way also, Sarah. Just in very unique ways.
I gotcha. What's something that you have to do every day?
Not send Snapchat streaks. Actually, maybe. I have a Snapchat streak with Bun. Probably scroll through Reddit at least once a day. I just see what's happening in the world.
Hold on, do you hear that?
What is that?
I think someone's yelling my name. Is Hudson trying to get inside or something? Yeah. Hold that thought. We'll be right back after these messages. Hey, we're still recording. You guys turned the boy off. Sorry, we got time. 107 minutes of camera. God damn, I forgot how much charge this thing holds. All right, hope you like their sponsors, because Hudson was
Sponsored by Shoulda Had Your Keys.
sponsored by Keys. Honestly, underrated, very underrated to have. What is your proudest accomplishment?
Easily graduating college. I feel like that's such an easy culmination of everything that I've done, and I'm still very surprised that I did it.
What is something you want to own?
I don't really know. I guess a house is a really easy answer. What I want to own? Oh, art. I want to buy cool art for my place. There's a couple paintings that I've been looking at from like artists who are still alive that I think is really cool, and I think that's gonna be one thing that I want to buy. Like once I have one of my first few paychecks.
I was in the sauna like 2 weeks ago, and
Reflecting on life.
a little bit. I mean, it's my thinking time, but there was these two guys talking about like, being like finding art to like sell, and like the guy was just talking about like, if I could bullshit it like in bullshit wine, I feel like I could like have a job. And I was just like, what are these two people like dudes talking about in the sauna about wine and art? It's just like never thought I'd hear that.
Yeah, and it's also cool to like support like a living artist still.
Yeah,
I think that's
before they're dead and famous as most artists are.
That's cool.
Except for Banksy. What will be the price of gas by the next time we film?
Probably the same as it is now, because I don't think it'll go up. I think it'll go up higher and then it will dip down. But just like with the natural rate of inflation, I think it won't be any lower than it is now. So probably around the same. So what was it, like $4.70 today? I could see that. I could still be at like $4.70.
Damn. That's a morbid answer that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go down, like, ever, really. Like, I don't think we'll ever see gas at, like, a cool, like, low threes again.
Where do you want to visit next?
I'm done with international travel for the time being. My friends, I want to go to weddings. I want to go visit their places. But one place I want to go back to in particular is Vegas. I had a good time in Vegas.
Vegas was fun.
And like knowing what Vegas is, and having like enough money to like enjoy Vegas, I think will be really cool.
What's one piece of advice you have for yourself, for the world, for me, whoever you want?
I think to vote, vote particularly in your local elections. Something as small as school board can have such a unique trickle-down effect. Like the people that you're putting on school board drive the educational agenda, who drive the future leaders of the world. Voting on even your city council can be really cool and is extremely underrated. The presidential election, I'm of the belief that if your vote doesn't count in that. I mean, statistically, that probably agrees. But your local elections and local issues are underrated and really cool to get a part of. Vote.
And last but certainly not least, top 5.
My computer, late nights with the boys.
Very important to have that somewhere in the top 5.
Somewhere in the top 5.
Yeah. This is an unordered, by the way, unless you want a specific order to it.
No, I'm just gonna shoot an unordered. Dinners with Sarah, where we get 2 entrees and split them. What we'll do a lot of times is get like a pasta and a pizza and we'll split it. That's really cool. I really like that. That's
cool.
Definitely like a top 5. I'm gonna go with house and EDM music. I think that's pretty essential to my personality right now. And then meeting new people, I feel like is probably the 5th. Like you can get to know someone at a really deep level, and I think that's really cool and really exciting. But also meeting a new person, even if you don't like them, and you're just like, this dude's really weird, like that kind of teaches you things about yourself that you didn't even realize.
Yeah. Well, that's an excellent top 5 and an excellent way to end this episode. I'm really glad to have you on. This was a long time coming. I thought you were only going home to Cincinnati for like 2 weeks, not like a month and a little bit, so
Yeah.
sorry about the whole like 2 days before you move out thing, but
No, it's fine. I got nothing else better to do.
yeah, glad to have you on, and I don't know how to end these things, so goodbye, I guess.
Done.
Yeah. Sweet.
Good job.
Thank you.